Nkeiruka Onyejeocha, a conduit deployed by APC to destabilize our party, the Labour Party. We are here to intimate you on yet an unholy alliance between the Honorable Minister of State for Labour, Nkeiruka Onyejeocha, and some expelled members of our party, as you all know, led by Chief Apapa, and whose purpose is to ensure that crisis is sustained perpetually in our party. One may begin to wonder what concerns the Minister of State for Labour, Honorable Nkeiruka Onyejeocha, and the Labour Party, that she will go at length to instigate and fund crisis within the party. We are, however, aware that the former lawmaker is fighting a personal and prosy war against the party. Onyejeocha has been in the National Assembly for the past 16 years, since 2007 until February 25th general election, when he was defeated by Honorable Amobi Ogah with a very wide margin. Her loss to Amobi Ogah was a pill too hard to swallow. Hence, she has vowed to use all her connections to ensure that the election declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is upturned in her favor. Her political ambition was to be the Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives, though that cannot be achieved. She has also boasted that powers that be in Aso Rock has promised her the speakership, a position she contested in 2019 but lost to Femi Gbajabiamila, who now is the Chief of Staff in the Tinubu administration. Onyejeocha believes that the Isukwato Munnochi Federal Constituency is her chiefdom. However, the result of the election altered all those plans. Permutations for Onyejeocha, who saw her ambition drifting. For her to be the Speaker, she must first win the seat at the reps, and Amobi Ogah was the only stumbling block. Therefore, he must go at all costs. Onyejeocha, with a strong support from the presidency, plotted to be part of the 10th NAS using the instrument of tribunal. She had worked tirelessly to ensure that the tribunal pronounced her the duly elected member by turning the rules of the election on the head. With her limitless access to funds, it wasn't difficult for her to get Amobi Ogah sacked by the tribunal. Not because he lost the election, but the trial judge cancelled all the votes of the Labour Party on the ground of his membership of the party. Of course, the electoral law has been interpreted by even the Supreme Court to suggest that only a political party has the powers to determine its membership. Nigerians are still wondering what motivated such judgment, but the answer is not far-fetched. She simply deployed her huge financial war chest and bought the judgment all the way. Not satisfied with the slow pace of tribunal routes to the National Assembly, Onyejeocha went for the killer punch by using a federal high court in Kano to attempt to sack all elected political office holders from Abia State, the governor inclusive. The Kano judgment rattled and quaked the entire political space. Onyejeocha, who connived with some expelled members of the Labour Party, led by Apapa, had applied to be a joiner in the case, but was refused by the judge for filing out of time. However, most of her pleadings before the court was granted, even when the court lacked the locus. It took the ululation from the general public before the matter was upturned by the appellate court. Not done, Onyejeocha, after the ruling of the tribunal was appealed against and the venue of the city moved to Lagos, also initiated a crisis by using her Aso Rock connection to bully officials of INEC into committing a mortal mistake of pitching two senior advocates and legal luminaries, J.O. Asoluka San and Yunusa Ustaz Usman San, against each other in an open court on who holds the authority to represent INEC. Specifically, on the 11th of October 2023, the INEC Secretary, Rose Oririan Anthony, in a letter titled Letter of Instruction, conveyed the appointment of John Asoluka San by INEC to file an appeal at the Court of Appeal, Owerri Division, on behalf of the Commission against the decision of the Abia State National and State House of Assembly Election Petition Tribunal in the number EPT ABHR/8 2023, Honorable Nkeiruka Chidubem Onyejeocha and Ano versus INEC and others. But in a twist of event, INEC went further to engage the services of Unisa Ustaz Osman on the same matter before the appeal court. We sincerely believe that INEC was everything but independent, as the Commission acted helplessly and as a body being dictated to by unseen forces. However, Eunice Ustaz Usman San, on the 17th of October, in a letter to the Commission, wrote to withdraw his representation in the two appeals before the Court of Appeal on the ground that the Commission had already briefed another law firm to represent or defend it. However, on the following day, at the commencement of the matter before the appeal court, a lawyer from the firm of Unisa Ustaz Usman, unknown to the senior counsel, surfaced even when the Asoluka and his team were already seated to represent the INEC. The desperation by the lawyers from the firm of Yunus Ustaz Usman San to insist on representing INEC even when the firm had already written to INEC withdrawing its services stoked our curiousness, even as the embarrassed Ustaz Usman completely distanced himself from actions not known to him. On further investigation, we realized that INEC failed to release this letter written on the 17th by the firm of Yunus Ustaz Usman San, withdrawing from the case. The letter only surfaced after the unfortunate incident at appeal court. So we are wondering if there was any threat from high places against officials of INEC, preventing them from making the letters public. We also took special note of the presence of Apapa-led splinter group who attempted to hijack the representation of the party at the court. Remember, that was not the first time they tried to do something like that. How did this splinter group came into the scenario? Who got them involved and for what purpose? The same group engaged by Onyejeocha to shop for judgment in a Kanu court. It is a known fact that these groups have evolved as meddlesome interlopers and have severally worked against the larger interests of the Labour Party, even when Supreme Court has refused them recognition. Labour Party and its candidates are in the appeal court to ask it to reject the judgment by the Abia State National and State House of Assembly Election Petition Tribunal, and which cancelled the victory of the party and its candidate, Amobi Ogah, relying on the result generated and tendered by the petitioner, the APC candidate, as against the result generated by the INEC. How can that be possible? The onus falls on INEC to defend the result it generated from the election, and Asoluka San has the brief to defend INEC's result. Who then influenced the decision to remove him? Labour Party is also aware of the prosy war engaged by Onyejeocha for her principals, who benefit bountifully from the artificial crisis in the Labour Party. Labour Party bruised the ego of the ruling party, whether anybody likes it or not, in the last general election. And it was believed in their cycle that a divided Labour Party will be weak to stage a claim to their mandate. Onyejeocha was allegedly chosen by the APC leader in the Southeast and the Imo State Governor, Hope Uzodimma, as a conduit to fund the dissidents. The party is also not unaware of her roles in denying Labour Party her victory in Enugu State through her kinsmen who served as electoral officer and the returning officer in Enugu State. We are worried that millions of naira was allegedly budgeted by Onyejeocha to sustain the crisis in the Labour Party by funding Apapa and his cohorts, and particularly to ensure that Amobi Ogah is removed from the House of Representatives. This money, which ought to be channeled to helping in alleviating scorching poverty in her constituency, is being thrown around all in her inordinate quest for power. The little of that money would have been used to build road in Isukwato Umunochi. There is no road there. The question that has not been answered is, why the obsession for power? It is practically impossible for Onyejeocha to be speaker again, at least under this 10th assembly, as offices have since been distributed and he's a serving minister of state. What does she hope to gain in ensuring and sustaining crisis in Labour Party by massively funding Apapa and his gang? In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we are therefore calling on the present government to relieve Onyejeocha of her ministerial role, as she has lost focus, and since she has refused to concentrate on the assignment given to her as Minister of Labour for State. Of course, you know that the labor unions are crying, salaries are not being paid, and the palliative promised them is not worth it. So he has to be relieved of his duty. We also urge security agencies, including police, DSS, EFCC, and ICPC, to please invite Onyejeocha for questioning over her role in funding insurrection in the Labour Party, bullying of INEC staffs, manipulating the judiciary, and also helping to stoke political crisis in Nigeria's best political party, the Labour Party of Nigeria. Thank you, and God bless you.